on today's video, I'm going to be looking at a list from IGN.com, and it was posted on the 2nd of September this year. So it's fairly new, and it's the top 25 best horror movies of all time. Now, on the build up to Halloween and just before October, I find myself looking at these lists quite a lot. Also watching a lot of countdown shows and the Mark Gatiss documentaries as well, just to set you up nicely for Halloween, really. But yeah, these lists are admittedly mostly crap. Pretty much the same films appear on all of them. You very rarely get a rogue shout, to be fair, but I seen one from The Guardian, which was from 2018, so I weren't going to use it. But number 25 was Don't Torture a Duckling. Now, I wanted to use that list purely because that's on it, and I don't necessarily agree with Don't Torture a Duckling being there, but that's a mad shout, especially like to pick that Fulci film. That's a mad one. So I'm going to go back and read that list because that list started off very well. But yeah, we'll have a look at this and get into it anyway. Right, so number 25 on this list is Scream. Yeah, the original Scream, which you can't have too many complaints with that. It's so iconic, innit? Such an important film for slashers as well. Basically reinvented the genre, so yeah, that earned its spot 100%. And the Scream franchise is fantastic, innit? Even a bad Scream film is really enjoyable. So yeah, I've got no complaints whatsoever with Scream being number 25, and it's low enough as well because it wouldn't make me top 10 or whatever, but I'm pretty happy that's on the list, to be honest. But yeah, Scream. Right, number 24 is Nosferatu. I mean, I get it. I understand how it can get on the list, but it's not making my list personally, and I feel like earlier films like that get on it because of what they stand for, not the actual execution of the film, because cinema's grown so much since 1922, it's tough to actually put Nosferatu next to more modern day iconic horror films and actually expect it to stand up. So I feel like films like that get on there from what they stand for rather than actually being the best horror film of all time. So I can see the argument, but it's not making my list personally. Right, number 23, The Blair Witch Project. Alright, I'm proper happy that's on the list because that can easily be overlooked because it's been parodied so much. I kind of feel like it doesn't get the respect it deserves no more, but when Blair Witch first come out, like when I first seen that especially, like that was scary. Like that really scared me. And found footage done well is very effective. Like I know it's kind of a tired genre and it's the cheapest thing to make, so there's so much crap out there, but good found footage is proper scary, I find, to be honest. So yeah, I'm happy to see Blair Witch on that list. I'd have it a bit higher than 23, to be honest, but I'll just take it getting the respect it deserves, to be honest. So yeah, Blair Witch, I'm all for that. Right, number 22 is Dracula 1931. I mean, Bela Lugosi as Dracula is arguably the most iconic image in horror, or it's up there. But I don't even think that's the best Universal Monsters film, to be honest. I think Frankenstein's a much better watch. I think The Wolfman's much better, and Creature from the Black Lagoon is the best Universal Monsters film for me. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily have any of them on the top 20. Well, actually, I might have Creature, to be honest, but yeah, not for me. Dracula's not getting on this list personally, but like I say, arguably one of the most iconic images in horror, so you can't be too angry that it winds up on these lists, really. But nah, I'm not having that, not for me. Right, number 21, 28 Days Later. Gets nowhere near this list for me personally. Obviously, I know it basically changed how zombies operated, which isn't for the better, I don't think. I find 28 Days Later to be quite overrated, to be honest. I just don't, I get nothing out of it, really. So yeah, it wouldn't even make a top 50 for me. But yeah, let's move on. Right, number 20 is The Fly. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Cronenberg. It's quite a disgusting watch, to be honest. Body horror in general knocks me sick, to be fair, but The Fly, yeah, the effects are just so slimy and it's just horrible. And the score is outstanding to The Fly. I love the score. Yeah, I've got no no issues with The Fly being on there at all. Right, number 19 is American Werewolf in London. There is not a chance American Werewolf is only the 19th best horror film ever made. Like, it's top 10 easy for me. So there's at least 9 films on this that need to be booted off to get American Werewolf higher. Like, that's a joke. Like, I don't love horror comedies, but it's easily the best horror comedy ever made. It walks the line perfectly. Like, when it's funny, it's really funny. The chemistry between Jack and David is perfect. They look like actual friends who are on a road trip. Like, it's perfectly cast. The effects are arguably the greatest in horror. Like, that transformation scene in the bright setting that it is, it's incredible. That works. Like, that shouldn't work, but the fact they put so much of it on show and it's still so convincing is amazing. And then when it's scary, it's actually genuinely scary. Like, that double bluff dream sequence is a great jump scare that's still effective even on rewatches. And even the earliest hospital bed transformation scene where it just flashes to David and he's got like the purple skin and like the fangs showing, like, that's such a scary image. Like, that's wild. That's number 19. Right, number 18 is Let the Right One In. Yeah, I'm all for that, to be honest. It's such an amazing love story. I absolutely love Let the Right One In. It's so brutal, but so beautifully shot. Like, when the kill scenes are on, they're just getting ripped apart. It's heavy. And then the shots when them two are just together, it's just a stunning film. Like, yeah, it does that parallel so well. I love Let the Right One In, to be honest. It's not better than American Werewolf, but I do love Let the Right One In. Yeah, I'm good with that, to be honest. Right, number 17 is Suspiria. Yeah, I'll take that all day. It's genuinely one of the most amazing films you'll ever watch visually. It's absolutely gorgeous in every sense. Like, I've still never seen a colour palette like it. It's like 1977, and there's still not a film that's as well shot as Suspiria. It's just gorgeous. And the Goblin score is absolute perfection. It's very brutal when it needs to be as well. It's heavy. Like, that barbed wire scene is so heavy. But yeah, you can't say enough good things about Argento's Suspiria. It's a genuine masterpiece. Like, right, number 16 is Dawn of the Dead. The 2004 version of Dawn of the Dead. That is absolutely outrageous. There's not a chance that gets on this list. It's not even top 50. It's not even top 100, actually. Like, there's no way you can put the remake of Dawn of the Dead higher than Suspiria. Like, that is wild, mate. That is a beyond questionable shout for this list. That's nonsense. But yeah, move on. Right, number 15 is the original Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, it's one of them. You can't have too much to say about that, really. It's always on these lists. It's not my favourite Nightmare. I think Dream Warriors is the best Nightmare on Elm Street, to be fair. And it's not my favourite look of Freddy. Part 2 is a well better look. He looks so heavy in part 2. But yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street, you can't have much to say. But I will say the performance of Nancy's mum, I only realised this recently at a screening. She is pissed the whole way through that film. She's hiding bottles of vodka in the airing cupboard and everything. Like, it's such a weird performance. But yeah, I'll take Nightmare on Elm Street. It's one of them you'd expect to see. Right, number 14 is Poltergeist. I absolutely love Poltergeist. And I hadn't seen it for about over 10 years, I think. But there was a Tobe Hooper film day. I think it was like a Grimfest thing. And they played Texas Chainsaw, Texas Chainsaw 2, Poltergeist and Salem's Lot. And Poltergeist played so well on the big screen because I just hadn't seen it for so long. It was like a first time watch and it was absolutely unreal. And even though Spielberg's fingerprints are all over that, in my head, I'm giving that to Tobe Hooper. That's still a Tobe Hooper film for me. And the score as well is absolutely stunning. So yeah, I'm all for Poltergeist being on this list. Right, number 13 is John Carpenter's The Thing. There's not a chance The Thing is the 13th best horror film ever made. It's top 3. There's no... This list is doing my head in, like. I mean, for me, it's Carpenter's masterpiece. It's the best Carpenter film. Kurt Russell is absolutely incredible in it. Which, by the way, he's got so many iconic characters. He's so good, Kurt Russell. The score is absolutely stunning. The effects are the best you'll ever see. They literally will never be topped. Like, that is absolutely wild that The Thing is number 13 on this list. Right, number 12. 1974. Which, that's a massive clue. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I don't know who wrote this list, but your opinion of horror is fucking wild, mate. There's not a chance you can have The Thing as the 13th best horror film and Texas Chainsaw Massacre as number 12. That is... I know opinions are subjective, but that blows my mind that someone can have that opinion. Unless they are looking for reactions for this article, because that's the only conceivable way that I can accept the Dawn of the Dead remake being included in the 25 best films of all time and Texas Chainsaw not breaking the top 10. I mean, it should break the top 2, to be honest, but that is fucking mad, mate. But I'll just talk about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre for a bit, because for me, it's the most effective horror film ever made. It's gritty, grimy, scummy. Like, you can see the scum lives on the cells in that film. Like, there's not a film that looks the way the Texas Chainsaw Massacre does. It's so unique in the way it's shot, because it's so gritty and grimy, and then you've got that shot of Pam standing up off the swing walking towards the house, which is, I mean, that's literally my favourite shot that's ever been put on film. It's absolutely gorgeous. The sound design for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is so unique and so weird and just unnerving. It just sets an unnerving tone throughout the whole film. And then you can't get away from the fact that the last 20 minutes of that film are Marilyn Burns screaming at the top of her lungs and the family effectively prodding her and taunting her. Like, it's so sadistic, the last 20 minutes of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like, I seen a screening of it. The first time I seen it on the big screen was in London. And weirdly, all the audience done was laugh. They thought it was the funniest thing. And I come out and it was a great viewing, but I was very confused by that reaction because I've never seen the comedy in Texas Chainsaw. I know Toby Hooper likes to claim it's there, but I've never seen the comedy in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. For me, it's just sadistic and disturbing and so effective. It really still scares me. That audience just found it really funny, so that was quite confusing. And then I seen it a second time in Liverpool, and you could hear a pin drop, mate. The audience, that you could feel how disturbing the audience found it, and that's what I was expecting when I went to London, because that's the effect it has on me. I find it to be so sadistic and disturbing. Like, it really, really gets under my skin. And yeah, seeing it in Liverpool, that was for me the appropriate response. Like, but yeah, it was so weird. People like laughing their heads off at Texas Chainsaw, and it also did kind of add a bit of humour to it. So it was a very strange viewing. But yeah, to whoever wrote this list, mate, your opinion couldn't be further from mine. You have got a mad, mad opinion of horror films. Let's move on. Right, number 11 is Rosemary's Baby, which that shouldn't be on this list for me. I know it's iconic, but I'm going to do my best and not say it's not better than The Thing and it's not better than Chainsaw, because they're my two favourite films of all time. So no matter what's on this list, that's the case. So I'll do my best not to repeat that over and over, but it's not. But if Rosemary's Baby makes this list, it's got to be in the 25 to 20 range for me. Like, there's no way that's the 11th best horror film ever made for me. Obviously I know it's iconic and the rest of it, but nah, I'm not having Rosemary's Baby at 11. Like, no way. Let's see what's number 10. I've got no idea what this is going to be, by the way. This list is doing my head in. Night of the Living Dead, which I do like. Night of the Living Dead, don't get me wrong, but this is the problem with these lists. Like, I feel like they get caught up with what's more important for film and what's more important for the genre than simply what's the best made horror film. Because if you ask George Romero what his best film was, I doubt he's going to say Night of the Living Dead, because you would hope he's evolved as a filmmaker. So even of the Dead trilogy, Night of the Living Dead is the weakest. Like, Dawn of the Dead is objectively a better film, I think, and Day of the Dead, while it's a rogue shout, so I personally think it's the best. I think most people would say Dawn of the Dead is the best of the Dead trilogy. So I think including Night of the Living Dead as like number 10, I don't feel like that's honestly true. Right, number 9, Evil Dead 2. Okay, yeah, an Evil Dead in the top 10, I haven't got a problem with that. Personally, I'm going with the Evil Dead 1 because the comedy aspect of Evil Dead 2 doesn't really do it for me, to be honest. It becomes quite silly. I'm not the biggest Evil Dead franchise fan, really. I love the 2013 remake, I like the original, and I enjoyed Evil Dead Rise, to be honest. But Evil Dead 2's, it's okay. And Army of Darkness for me was unwatchable. I hate that film so much. I think it took me about 4 times to get through that. But yeah, so personally I go with Evil Dead 1 over Evil Dead 2 for number 9, but I can deal with that being there. That's not bad. Right, number 8 is The Silence of the Lambs. Yeah, I'm alright with that, to be honest. I think that's quite a creepy film. I really love Silence of the Lambs, to be fair. And the score from Howard Shore is an absolutely stunning score, to be honest. It's such a great score. So yeah, I'm alright with Silence of the Lambs. Personally, I'd have that lower, to be honest. But it hasn't annoyed me that it's on the list. I'll take that. Right, number 7 is Jaws. Absolute masterpiece. I adore Jaws, to be honest. And especially with what has been left out of the top 10, that's got to be number 2 next to The Exorcist as number 1, which, if The Exorcist isn't number 1 on this list, I'm going to be fuming, by the way. But yeah, I love Jaws, and it has genuinely got some scary moments. I don't understand how people say it's not a horror film. It's quite clearly a horror film. That inflatable coming into the beach and then the tide goes out, that is a terrifying shot. And the first shot, when the kid's getting ripped apart, mate, there's no way that's not a horror film. Jaws is clearly a horror film. Right, number 6 is Alien. Right, whoever's made this list, mate, he's put so many iconic films outside of the top 5. I've got no idea what this top 5 is going to be, which I guess is good for these lists, because usually they are all very predictable. So I haven't got a clue what the top 5 is going to be. But I definitely expected Jaws and Alien to be in there, with Chainsaw and The Thing and all that being left off. Like, that's wild. But Alien's an absolute masterpiece, to be honest. That first film is genuinely scary as well. I heard Kevin Smith describe it as a haunted house film in space, and for me that's the perfect description. I think that's exactly what it is. It's just got the same setup as a haunted house film. But yeah, I really like that description. But let's see what the top 5 is. Right, number 5 is The Bride of Frankenstein. That is the most hipster horror choice I've ever seen in my life. There's no way The Bride of Frankenstein is the 5th best horror film of all time. Nah, you can't have that. I do like The Bride of Frankenstein, but that is a hipster choice, mate. Yeah, let's move on. Let's see what's number 4. Right, number 4 is John Carpenter's Halloween. See, with what's being left out of this top 5, I expected that to be probably second, and then The Exorcist first. The Exorcist has got to be first on this list. It just has, because everything else has been left off that will be in my top 5, so that's wild, mate. I've got no problem with Halloween being in the top 5, though. Halloween is an absolute masterpiece. It's incredible. So yeah, I'm all for Halloween being in that, but I haven't got a clue what this top 3 is going to be. This is a mad list, this, mate. Right, number 3, Psycho. Which, yeah, it's one of them. I think it's more iconic and important than actually good, but yeah, the way this list has been going, I expect to see Psycho in one of these spots. Or actually, the way this list has been going, Psycho would have been left off. But yeah, I'm all for Psycho being there. Why not? I was expecting something like Hereditary to be there, to be honest. Which I do love Hereditary, but it's not top 3 of all time. Right, number 2. Shit the bed, The Exorcist. Right, I am dreading seeing what number 1 is, because the way this list has been going, The Exorcist had to be number 1. Because, I mean, I just want to talk about The Exorcist for a bit, because it's absolutely terrifying. It scares the shite out of me, to be honest. So as far as scary horror films goes, it's number 1 for me. It's not my favourite horror film, but it's the scariest horror film of all time for me. But I've got no clue what this number 1 spot's going to be, and it could have only been The Exorcist for it not to annoy me. So if this is something mad like Hereditary, right, I'm gonna be fuming, because I do love Hereditary, but it can't be. Yeah, let's just see what number 1 is. Right, and number 1 for this list has been proper mad. Right, The Exorcist number 2, number 1. Okay, The Shining. I forgot about The Shining, to be honest, and it doesn't even break top 5 for me, but you know what? I'm not annoyed, because at least it's iconic enough to make the argument, because I was dreading what that number 1 spot was going to be, to be honest. And yeah, The Shining it's a great film, but it's not top 5 for me, like. So yeah, this list has been rogue, and the questionable shouts for me, where Dawn of the Dead remake being on there whatsoever is a problem. Texas Chainsaw Massacre being number 12 and The Thing being number 13 is shocking, to be fair. But yeah, The Shining number 1, I can stomach that at least. Right, quick recap anyway. 25, Scream. 24, Nosferatu. 23, The Blair Witch Project. 22, Dracula. 21, 28 Days Later. 20, The Fly. 19, American Werewolf. 18, Let the Right One In. 17, Suspiria. 16, The Dawn of the Dead remake. Outrageous. 15, Nightmare on Elm Street. 14, Poltergeist. 13, The Thing. 12, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. 11, Rosemary's Baby. 10, Night of the Living Dead. 9, Evil Dead 2. 8, Silence of the Lambs. 7, Jaws. 6, Alien. 5, Bride of Frankenstein. 4, Halloween. 3, Psycho. 2, The Exorcist. And number 1, The Shining. Do you know what? Apart from the order, the list itself isn't actually too bad. There's only really 28 Days Later, Dawn of the Dead remake, and Rosemary's Baby, really, that I'd take Nosferatu and Bride of Frankenstein off as well, actually. But for the most part, that was acceptable. It's just the order for me was batshit, to be honest. And yeah, that was quite a good list to pick, to be honest, because that order wound me up something terrible, to be fair. But yeah, if you did enjoy the video, give it a like. Drop some comments in what you'd include that was on this list as well, because that's always quite interesting. I'd like to read what you should have on that list. And share the video around if you can, because it's a fairly new channel, so that would be massively helpful. And nice one. See you next time.